thank you, Alan, for joining me. I really appreciate your time very much.
Well, thank you.
And who do I have here?
Alan Rolette.
Alan Rolette.
Alan Rolette Photography.
Alan Rolette Photography. How do you spell that?
Rolettete. So it's not spelled right. When the Roulettes came here from French Canada, they came by way of the Mississippi River and then came through Louisiana. When they got there, they were illiterate, had no idea how to spell their names. And in Louisiana, they just decided to drop the U. It's generally Roulette.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And if you're really Canadian, it's Oulette, because in French, they generally don't pronounce R's. So when people who are French say my name, they say roulette. And it sounds like roulette, but it's roulette.
Roulette. Does that sound right? Roulette?
Nope, it'll go, pretend you have a W at the end of it, it's like roulette.
Roulette?
Roulette. If you were in French Canada or if you were in France, you would call me Alan Rolette.
Alan Rolette.
Roulette.
Boy, this is bad for me. Alan Rolette?
So, well, close. I mean, roulette. So but they put an R at the end of it, and then they dropped the U, and then years went by, and it's just been Rollette.
Well, that's very interesting, because I had no idea, and I would never know anything about it like that. I know that I retired in 2017, and I wanted to do family research.
Mm-hmm.
I did the whole DNA. I gave them my DNA, and for 2 years, I researched my family, and I found my third great-grandmother,
Wow.
Martha. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting Martha. I'm going to get in trouble. Anyway, she was illiterate and had like 7 kids, and one of them was out of wedlock. Back then, it was a thing.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Well, that one person was my second great-grandfather, and she married a guy who took care of her. And so you find the most interesting things when you do your family research.
You do. We did the Ancestry.com thing, and we went back, and apparently I have relatives in Vermont that 17,000 generations back and everything, and I don't know how they got from. I mean, most of my family is in the West. It's Joplin, Missouri, Kansas City.
Are you serious? That's where I'm from.
You from Joplin?
No, I was born in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, Kansas City. So, as a matter of fact, there's a Roulette, Kansas, or Roulette, Oklahoma, actually, Rollette. But somehow there's this offshoot that's in Vermont that we still haven't figured the whole thing out. My wife is just typing away, looking at all that stuff up, so she loves it.
That is fantastic. Yeah, I loved it. I got the bug when I decided I want to find out. My family, the first Burns came in 17-something up in Massachusetts. Well, the last 3 or 4 generations were in Indiana, southern Indiana. And they split. They came from Ohio area. They split. One went up to northern Indiana, one went down to the southern Indiana.
Okay.
And it was forever trying to figure this out. But I finally figured out a couple of brothers, one went north, one went south. And we're from the south part of Indiana.
Yeah.
But I got that bug of doing all that research. Oh, it was so fantastic. And Ancestry.com, Find a Grave. Yeah. It's a great resource.
Well, even the 23andMe, and they're popping up all over the place.
Yeah.
You open your mouth, somebody's going to stick a swab in it at some point to figure out who you are and what you got.
It's very, very.
She said you're from Ohio. I'm from Ohio too.
What part?
From the Cleveland area.
So you're way up there.
We lived in Cleveland and all around Cleveland. So, matter of fact, I'm going there. Today's Thursday, so I guess tomorrow.
You were raised. Oh, let me get into it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So you, Alan Rolette Photography. Where were you raised at?
So I was born in the Cleveland area. Lived in and out of Cleveland.
I'm sorry. You know the Cleveland joke.
Well, we were back. I mean, we were there when the river caught on fire. So I mean, I lived there back then. So I mean, everything was polluted. Everything was dirty. We had this horrible rivalry with Pittsburgh, and they would come and flip our cars over and set them on fire, and we'd go there and flip their cars over and set them on fire. And you got to watch all this fun stuff on TV. And I was just a little kid, and so at 17, I joined the military and kind of got out of Cleveland and hadn't been back but a couple of times. So I'm going back up for business tomorrow. I'm shooting for 3 days. I'll be back on Sunday. So it's the first time about going back to Cleveland in 27 years.
27 years.
28 years. This year makes 28 years.
Wow.
Since I've been back to Cleveland.
And so, what service did you go into?
I was in the Navy. So I became a hospital corpsman, which is a weird profession. You know, it covers a lot of stuff. So, I mean, anything that you do in a hospital is covered by hospital corpsman, but corpsmen are also the medics for the Marine Corps. So I did spend some time with the Marines, and then I spent the rest of my time in Portsmouth, Virginia, and lovely.
What years were you in?
I was in, sadly, dating myself, I went in from 85 to 89.
I was in 89 to 91.
Okay.
You got me a couple years.
So what was your NEC?
I was in the Army.
Okay.
And I was a 19 kilo. I was
Okay.
a tank driver.
Oh, wow.
The M1 Abrams tanks.
Okay.
I was a tank driver for the M1 Abrams.
Nice.
That's why I can't hear hardly anything today. Boom, 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 boom. It was in during the Gulf War. I didn't get deployed. I was stationed at Fort Knox, Kentucky the whole time.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go anywhere, do nothing. I was from Cincinnati. I was raised in Cincinnati. And I went home every weekend.
Wow.
Dude, I call it Camp Knox. Because it was so easy. I'm one of the lucky ones.
Well, we did, when we were training, for some of our training, we did some training at Fort Sam Houston, which everybody kept calling the country club. And I'm like, in the Navy, it was like, compared to the Army guys, we went and they're like, oh, it was an easy run today. We did 3 miles. I'm like, to get out of boot camp, we had to do like 2.25 miles in like 18 minutes. Like some people can walk that, you know? And we got to the Army base, and they're like, we're going to do a 3-mile run, everybody. And we're like, 3 miles? Like, what? And like, this is the country club, everybody. And I'm like, it wasn't a country club for us. So, but we were only there, I think, 12 weeks. And,
Oh, wow.
And then we left. So
Yeah. Kentucky, Fort Knox, Kentucky, they had these two mountains called Agony and Misery. And we had to do it, you know, when you went through basic training, you had to run them, you had to do the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. It's not even a bank, it's not even a tank base anymore.
Wow.
So they moved the tanks down to Georgia or something, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for your service.
Thank you for yours.
So what did you do after the military?
So I moved to California. There's always a girl involved. And moved to California and was a musician for a while.
Wow.
And I worked in a psychiatric clinic there for a while. And so, as I said, there's always a girl involved, and when there's always a girl involved, sometimes there's a girl not involved anymore. So I moved from there to North Carolina, which is where I actually met my wife. I was working. I was working at the time. I met her at the UNC JC Burn Center because they hired me as a burn person because I was a corpsman, and they were like, "Wow, you've seen some stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah, I've really seen some stuff." And they recommend you stay about 6 months, and I was there for 2 years. And you know, the joke is you get burned out, but I really did get burned out. It's
no pun intended.
No pun intended. But I don't even remember meeting her. She saw me in a hallway and figured out where I worked at, and eventually tricked every nurse on my unit into convincing me that she was the person I needed to ask out. And I asked her out, and she told me no. Which I guess was part of the whole thing. I don't know what it was, but next thing I know, October 31st will be 33 years because October 31st was our first date. And
congratulations, 31. You don't hear many of those anymore.
Yeah,
you really don't.
Yeah, we've been together. She's my partner. She's my ride or die.
Amen. That's mine too. I met my wife in a bar.
Yeah,
we were. I was with a friend, and she was with a friend, and those two friends started talking, and that left us standing there like twiddling our thumbs. And we just started chit chatting, you know, and 30 years later.
There you go.
Yeah, so you never know how life is going to be.
And it goes by quick.
Oh my God.
That's what's so funny about it, how quick it goes by.
Man, I don't know about you, but I think about like, I want to do some more before I leave this world. I want to do something every day.
But if you think about it though too, it's every stage of your life is a lifetime. You know, you have your lifetime as a kid, and then you have your lifetime as a teenager, and I have my life in the military. There's like a beginning, middle, and end to that, you know. I was a teacher for 16 years. There was a beginning, a middle, and end to that.
Absolutely.
You know, working at the burn center, beginning, middle, and end. You know, and so it's, you know, as I get older, you know, you start to go, wow, you know, Photography's I've been doing that for about 10 years now, on my own, with my own business, for 10 years. And it's funny how many lifetimes I've lived before that. And now photography is a whole completely new, different lifetime, lifestyle, everything between
That's
travel.
wonderful. And you don't know what's next after photography either. Isn't that incredible?
Hopefully some rest. Spend some time on the couch and watch, binge TV.
Well, I understand you travel the world.
We do.
Can you tell me some things that you've done?
So we go once a year. We try to take a trip, and I always try to make it. Sadly, against the IRS, I try to make it business related. It's business related to get write-offs, and
of
but so everywhere we go, I try to get something epic, and so we try to go somewhere epic. So I have the Elizabeth Tower with Big Ben in it. I have that as a print that I sell. I have waterfalls from Iceland. I have there's kids that we've shot in the Dominican Republic, sort of just in the forest, and but then I have New York City, and I have let's see, we've shot some stuff in Boston. I've shot some stuff in Turkey, in Rome, in Venice, in
Iceland.
Where else? Barcelona, Spain.
Now, how did you go from your career, I guess, teaching into photography? Have you been thinking about it as a kid? You think of photography?
Well, there was a kind of a overlap there for a little while. In theory, we have 3 months off, 2.5 months off as a teacher. In theory, you spend most of your time, getting over the last year and worrying about the next year, and there's that's part of it. But there's this little space in the middle, this little oasis in the middle, this eye in the storm. And my wife and I generally chose that time to take a trip. So, we went to Dubrovnik, that's in the Czech Republic, and we wanted to climb there's these famous walls that are there. And I didn't even take my camera equipment because they were like, oh, it's just so much climbing and all this stuff. So we climbed the walls of Dubrovnik, but it's in, June or July. It's just as hot as all blazes. And so I was looking at it as an opportunity to go, well, this is great. I can take these pictures, I can, have these prints to sell and have all of that. And then eventually it just started kind of morphing into more prints than every year was a trip after a while. And every year was, we just got back from, we went to Amsterdam, we were in Germany, and we spent one day in France, Strasbourg. And then we ended up in Switzerland, which we were in Switzerland last year or the year before.
Some people go their whole life not being able to do that.
Right, and my wife that is her everything is traveling, besides me. But her everything after me and our children is traveling.
Sure.
So I get opportunities. So I take
oh my goodness,
200, 300, 400 pictures, and then find 5 that I want to process and think are fit for sale, and been doing that for years now. So
that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm a picture fool because I think it's because of my bad memory. I have a bad memory, and so I cannot remember stuff. My wife always teases me. I'm like a cassette player. You got to rewind it to get to that point. I'm not like a CD where you can just pin. Right. It takes me a while, but I'll get there eventually.
All right, so we went to this place, but then before that we got there, and that's where we had that thing, and then had that sandwich that was,
that's exactly what I am. So I learned to take pictures all the time.
Right.
I don't know a lot of pictures is, but since I retired and I started doing my family research, I also organized and scanned in all the old pictures that we used to have, that we got. I scanned them into digital format. And just in the family photos, I got 70,000. So I take pictures. I think that's a lot. I take a lot of pictures.
Well, of professional pictures that I've done, not family photos or any of that kind of stuff, on the various hard drives that I have copied and in different places in case the house burns down and all that. I have about 450,000.
Wow. Okay. So in
yeah.
10 years.
In 10 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's
a lot of
I've got the little
and,
SD drive that everything, if something happens to that SD drive, I'm in trouble. I need to duplicate that sucker.
Yep, you get them on there, and then you put them on the different discs, and then you make sure they're in different places. Some of them are in fireproof boxes, and some of them are just on shelves in case I need to grab them and do something with them later on. And which is crazy what happens. Like somebody, there's people that I've shot 8 years ago
that come back to you.
They come back and go, well, we're doing sort of before and after kind of thing. Do you have any of those left? And I'm like, I sure do.
God, that's awesome. So, that's a fantastic service.
Yeah.
To be able to do that. That is absolutely wonderful. And so if people want to see your work, they can go to alanrolettephotography.com.
alanrolettephotography.com. alanrolettephotography.com. Alan Rolette Photography on Instagram. Alan Rolette Photography on Facebook. I wish I could remember my Twitter.
Fantastic.
I don't remember my Twitter. I just did a brand new Twitter. But
if we can get them to look, they'll be able to find you.
AlanRolettePhotography.com is a relatively new. You can find me on Google on AlanRolettePhotography.com too. Alan Rolette Photography on Google also. But all things Alan Rolette Photography.
So you're available for hire for parties, weddings, anniversaries, receptions, anything that involves taking. Do you do video as well?
I don't do video. What you call a freelance photographer.
Okay.
So freelance photographer means generally I'll shoot just about anything. There's a couple of things I don't shoot just because I can't wrap my head around them. But everything else I do. If you go on Alan Rolette Photography, if you go under services, you'll see headshots, portraits. I'll do small functions, small weddings. If you're in a cathedral and you need 45 photographers, I'm not your guy. But if you're getting married in a barn out in Palaca,
I've been to one of those.
They're fun.
They're
great, and you get great pictures from them. And then real estate. I do real estate, which is a one-man deal. I do work with another company, Boutique Imagery. Boutique Imagery will end up, they finish my editing for me, and then they send out these amazing, essentially it comes in an email, but they're links. And when you click that link, there's two different types of slideshows. You get all your images you can download. It has all of your information as a realtor, has the information of your company, has information of the house, you get all of that. And it all comes in just one email. And you can use whatever link you like. And say you have someone that says, I'm looking for a house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, blah, blah, blah. Send them the link, boom. And they get to see all of this stuff that I've shot. So they do that portion, but I go out and do the shooting, I do the pre-editing, I do some of the editing, and then they just finish everything. Boutique Imagery is amazing.
So if you're either selling your house or you're a real estate agent, you need to list a house, they can contact you and you can get everything professionally done.
Selling your house, renting your house, I've done Airbnbs. Some people have wanted to do before and after builds. Like I've gone out and actually shot houses that were nothing but studs. And they just were like, we just want to see before we plant the trees, and then you do the after, which is great. Remodels. If you are someone who helps people remodel houses, I've met a couple through the Chamber of